I wanted to do a video on my solar camper van. I have a Nissan NV200 and I'll just show you everything that I've put into it and what I've done to make it kind of livable on the road. So the first thing I'll go off is the electronics. Up here we have 600 watts of solar, 300 watt panels that I got from Home Depot on a pretty good discount. They were about $250 a piece, so less than $1 a watt. The mounting brackets here I built myself. I went to a West Virginia steel plant and drilled them and finished them so that they wouldn't rust too bad. And I put all this together. These mounting points here I got on Amazon. They were said to fit the van, and it's been working pretty well so far. It's been up there almost 6 months now. Inside we have the inverter. It's really powerful. I can run a microwave on it. It's hooked up directly to the battery here. The battery is a Model S Tesla used battery. I got it from, I think it was a car repair shop down in one of the Carolinas for pretty cheap. It was about $1,000, and if I'm remembering correctly, it has 2 kilowatt hours of stored energy potential. We can see if it's charged right here. About 24.5 volts is about fully charged the way I'm running it. You can charge them higher sometimes, but it just reduces the life of them, and you don't want to drain them below like 20 or 19 because it'll also reduce the life of them. In the middle here I have a battery cutoff if it gets below a certain voltage, but you can see it's not hooked up because I haven't figured out how to configure it yet. There's some way to connect these pins in a certain pattern to configure it, and you just have this one like digit LED to show you, give you any feedback, which is kind of weird. I've got duct tape on some of the lights so it's easier to sleep in here without having light on your face. This is the charge controller. These wires go directly up to the solar panel through the roof. I had to cut these holes out of the roof here with an angle grinder. Could probably do it with something less extreme, but an angle grinder worked really fast. And I got some weathering putty on there to keep the water out, and there's a nice, I don't know if you can see it, little module there to pass the cables through. Another hole I had to make was for the fan up here. This is just a PC fan, 3000 RPM. It was the largest diameter that I could find. I think it's 14 inches. Actually, that doesn't look, I don't know, somewhere around there. I have a dial for it to control the fan speed, but for some reason that dial just cut out a couple days ago, so if I connect it all the way, you can see it turns just to full speed, which is a little bit noisy all the time, so I've been keeping it off for the past day or two. I have a standard smoke alarm and carbon monoxide detector you should always have in any kind of live-in vehicle. I have a fuse box here. The fuse box has individual fuses, and there's also an inline fuse down here. I think it's 50 amp. These fuses go to, for one thing, the lights. I have a light switch right here, and you can see they're really quite bright and a little bit orange tinted. So those are great, and they go all the way around the inside of the van like a spaceship. Let's turn those off. Some other things I have hooked up to this. Most of these wires, if not all of them, are just car charger plugs. So I can plug in USB, or you'll see my fridge is plugged in that way. I got a Dometic fridge. I think it's rated at just like 1 watt. Keep my food cold. This whole battery panel here is just some plywood I got at Home Depot, and I drilled holes to mount everything against it. The battery is the heaviest thing on here by far. This battery is like 50 pounds or more, and I have it held back against the wheel well back here using the solar panel. I found a nice point to attach it, kind of almost right behind the wheel well. And that side there's a D-ring that came with the van that's rated for just hundreds of pounds of force, so it's not going anywhere. While I'm here, the table I got is just from Target. It was just some sale they had at the front of the store, and it seems to fit pretty well. I can access it from the front pretty easily, although you see my bed's in the way, but this part of the bed folds down, and the back of it I can also access, kind of easily, at least the bottom two drawers. My laundry is back there, just kind of behind the passenger seat in this cabinet, and I got that blackout curtain back there off Amazon. I'll try to post links for that. It's supposed to have some noise reduction and not let any night light through, but definitely something I want to do next is get it higher up against the ceiling so there's no chance of light coming through these holes. I didn't realize it would come with these giant ring holes to hold it up. I thought it was going to be, those holes would be covered, but it's been working alright. I also hung these, they're called like shower pockets or something. I just duct taped them to the inside of the van. I didn't want to drill holes in the side of the van or anything, 'cause I feel like that would be kind of ugly and obvious that the van had been modded. So I've got these just duct taped everywhere. I've got my fire extinguisher there. From the ceiling I've got these Velcro straps to hold things up along the ribs of the ceiling. So I've got this luggable loo up there, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video, because how you use a bathroom in a van isn't the cleanest thing to talk about, and maybe someone wouldn't want to hear about that right off the bat. I've got my base up here just hanging from those Velcro straps, and any other little things I might hang up here as long as they're not hitting me in the head. Let's see. So the bed I just finished recently, probably last week. It's been made out of completely custom boards. I cut it all myself with the help from a friend. This plywood here is from Home Depot. It's very smooth. There's no chance of splinters, at least from the top of it, maybe the edges. And these boards here are really quite strong. My friend's holding up his deck with it. So these are just deck board. Well, not technically deck boards, but boards he used to build a deck that are really sturdy. And I've got a lot of space underneath it. I've got my sleeping bag under here, my whole lap tray, keyboard and mouse pad. That thing's amazing. My gym bag. What else? I've got some other bags back under here. There's a USB vacuum cleaner. It charges over USB, and then I can run it for a while. Little hand vac. I've got a really nice 24-volt heated blanket, which is really energy efficient compared to any other way I could think of heating. Heating the whole inside of the van is way too expensive, but just using a heated blanket is actually really efficient. Everything in here is 24 volts because the battery is 24 volts. But these USB plugs that you get for a car, they convert 24, not that. These things convert 24 back down to 12, so you can charge your phone and stuff. Alright, that's pretty much the inside. Back out here, I hang things up to dry on these ribs on the windows. These are to, I think, protect the windows. If you're transporting lumber, you wouldn't want the lumber to fall against it and shatter the window. They're really strong. I can hang from these, so you can see that I have a huge water jug hanging here. It's what is that, about 20 liters? It works great. Getting it up there initially is kind of hard, so I have to take it off to fill it and then put it back up. It's just kind of tricky. I've just got these straps around it holding it in, and it's pretty on there. I've got my gym towel drying here. Let's go around the side. I'll show you how the bed folds down. So this part of the bed just folds up like that. Get my pillow out of the way. So you can see it's a tri-fold bed, memory foam, 6 inches. This is just held up by this board here, and it's really sturdy. When there's any kind of weight on it, that board's not going to slip out. And under here, I've got my fridge, so you can see fridge is accessible from the front of the van. You can just kind of reach back through between the seats, and I've just got some water in there right now, but I could put whatever I wanted. And the fridge can, I don't actually have it running right now because I don't care about chilling the water, but you can set it to go down below freezing. I think it'll go down to 0C. So if I hit set, I go down, I think it'll go down to 0F actually. Yeah, 0F. So if I wanted to, I could use it as a freezer too. This is a great fridge. It was kind of expensive actually, from Dometic, but it's 24 volt and it's very efficient, so it fits my needs. I got this little dustpan from a friend, and then these drawers here, I've got all my food in the top drawer. You can see there's some soylent powder in there that I've been reluctant to eat, and then there's all my clothes in the second drawer. Actually need to do laundry pretty soon. My clothes hamper's filling up, and if I'm doing laundry on the road, that'll probably mean coin machines at a laundromat, which I'm not looking forward to because I've always done my laundry at wherever I'm living. This is all my tools and stuff. There's a bunch of things in there, voltmeter, more of this like weather stripping that I used to insulate, you know, the fan and where the solar panels come through the roof. Duct tape, cleaner. Here's a bag for my sleeping bag to compress it more. String, you know. Solar showers in there where I can put water in a black bag on the roof and have it heat up and use it outside theoretically. I've never tried it. I think we're almost getting to the end of this video. So let me talk about the luggable loo since it's the end. It's just a bucket. If I were to open it up, I would put a bag inside the bucket and then wrap the fringes of the bag all the way up and out and around the outside of it. So there's no chance of any contamination of the luggable loo itself. Everything is inside the trash bag. And then, you know, I would take number 2 there. For number 1, I would use just a bush outside, or if I'm in the city, hopefully just a restaurant, or go to the Y. If I'm really desperate, I could use a Gatorade bottle. Probably wouldn't want to go number 1 in a trash bag, because I would really only like solids in a trash bag in case there's any leak. Double bagging it is even safer. So that's that, and that's the van. And you can see up front, there's not a whole lot going on. I have this, you know, just high visibility vest hung around the seat just to make it look like a work van a little bit, and you know, I've got my water bottle there. Not a whole lot going on in front. The NV200 is great because it's really efficient. It's got a CVT transmission and it gets about 25 miles a gallon. There is a electric version of this van, but I opted to go for the gas version because I feel like I'll be, you know, maybe in rural areas a lot if I'm going to parks, and it'd be easier to find gas in a rural area than a way to plug in fast. And this solar panel is not nearly enough to charge a vehicle. You know, it's only enough for small things. I'm actually thinking about using my MacBook Air mostly on the road because it uses less electricity than my gaming laptop. And of course I've got this steering wheel lock just as a deterrent in case anyone's eyeing vehicles where I'm parked. You know, maybe my vehicle will get passed over if I have a steering wheel lock on it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks a lot. Take care. Let's play that outro music.